Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Eddie Marcus here again. Thank you for stopping on this post. Look, I think with this coronavirus thing happening around all across the world, it's something that could really be serious. I mean, this thing of having people not go to work, stay at home if you don't have to go places, and keep yourself kind of distant from other people. Kind of reminds you of some of the movies we've seen over the past years, hoping that we never have to experience anything like that. And well, let's hope we aren't. But it's kind of frightful a little bit, must say. And so, just being at home, sometimes you might just want to take a walk and see if you can break the monotony. Reflect a little bit as I was doing this evening. I was going out of the door here in Minnesota, and it is spring now, they say. Just the other day it was the end of winter, and we were having temperature weather with 50s and 60s, and all the snow basically melting. And here we are in spring, and would you believe it, you go outside, and what is it doing? It's snowing. But it's refreshing. It's like really getting a chance to reflect. The people aren't out. You're just out there by yourself. The sky, the few stars that's out, a little moonlight and a few street lights, and wind blowing just a little bit, and snow falling on your face. And you just think, hey, this is not so bad. And then you start going back because none of us know what the future holds when it comes down to something like this. We hope for the best, we pray for the best, but who knows? We'll see tomorrow. And anyway, I started thinking back, and I'm thinking now, what a nice little life it has been. I think about when I was in high school. Oh, do you remember high school? High school was something else. I think everybody who gets a chance to go through high school, depending on what level you're at, and when I say level, I'm talking about being a bully, whether you're in athletics or you're in a theater or band or music or whatever, but being about something, speech, dance, but being bold and audacious in who and what you are, proud of yourself, glad to flaunt it. And when you're a boy and a girl in teenage years, you really can get attracted to one another. I mean, you really can get attracted to one another. Think you in love with all of the love, and you have no idea what love is. I remember in high school, there was someone that was kind of really special, but it never got off the ground. I mean, we couldn't go anywhere with it. Then you go away, you go off into college with ambitions, brave ambitions, and you're in a new environment, and you're still you. You got to flaunt yourself wherever you are. You got to be known that new guys in town. And it's not so much about the lesson, even though it is, but it's about being able to deal with people to make your life worthwhile while it is. And so, to make a long story short, but I was kind of vain back in those days, you can imagine. I mean, what you see right now, these are years and years added 2 years, but back then, he took away a lot of these years, and it wasn't that bad. Anyway, I thought it weren't. I went at what I wanted, and I met a little girl, kind of pretty little thing. At that time, I was vain, so the first thing you look for is beauty. Beauty gets your attention. You got the attention, and then you look at something else if you want her. Sometimes the beauty is so enticing you can't go beyond that. And so I caught myself in a situation like that. Fell in love with a little girl in college, and she got out of school before I did. A couple of years, but hey, beautiful little thing. So we got hooked up. For years we were hooked up. We were both ambitious. She knew, I believed that I could conquer the world if I wanted to. And hell, I thought she was smart, but she could get just by her looks. And it didn't bother me. I said it's better than a diamond. Anyway, after those years, she went to at the Social Security Administration, and I got a chance to hook up at the Veterans Administration. Now, ladies, let me tell you why I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this because sometimes people like to be somebody. They don't just want to be nobodies. And when you are somebody, you don't mind people knowing. You try to do what you can so they can know without you talking. Well, regardless, if it's too difficult, and for some strange reason, talking is the only thing that's open, talk. And so, yes, I had a great ambition, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think anyone that's ever lived had any greater ambition. I'm not saying I had the greatest, but I think it would rank with those. And this is why I'm sharing this story with you. So those of you who are individuals who, just like me, take the same life struggles, just like me, I want you to know that that doesn't limit you in any way. So back to the story. So she cooking at working with the Social Security Administration. I'm with the Veterans Administration. People thinking that with my mouth and my confidence that one day I'd be a regional director for the Veterans Administration in the Chicago region. And it was okay for a minute, but when I'm around my 28th year, 28 years old, that call came. The call came from which, when I was a boy, I received that miracle. My life was given back to me when I was throwing it away. It was in preserve, and now at the age of 28, I was being called to service. To service. What does that mean? That means to give God some legitimacy. In other words, my body, that God use it for His glorification. Okay, now, it takes time. You don't just walk into this, but it was built up because the job I had, it put me in a position to see certain things that I just disagreed with. I just disagreed with it. For some strange reason, I disagreed with it and felt that something should be done. And over time, I felt that I guess it was going to be incumbent on me to do it. And so when I accepted the call, I want you all to know that I recognize that all things are of God. And they are all beautiful in the godly way. And they were made to be shared and experienced by any human being on earth that wanted to, needed to, or desired to. And so, all of the things that you want, that you work so hard to get, that you strive so hard, struggle so hard, commit yourself so hard, I want them to. It's just that I know that there is a way that is peaceful and prosperous and joyful and freedom and your dreams coming true without any pain, without any lying and cheating and crime and violence. And see, that's the way that I'm here to tell you about, to advocate to you about. But anyway, I was brought to this point that I'm given this call, and I'm looking at these problems, and I'm recognizing that I got to do something about them. And I also recognize that living a good life, you can't really think about too many problems. I'm not going to say you can't. I didn't. So in order for me to really focus on the down and out, I got to know what I'm talking about. Not that I haven't been there. I grew up there. But right now, trying to speak for people that's hurting in these trying times and crying times, you got to know what you're talking about, and there's no better way to know it than to experience it. So making that decision, this beautiful little lady that I felt so much charm for, decided that, well, the ambition had left me, and there was no further reason for us to connect. And so that was the end of that. Brought me to a level I wanted to make sure that I didn't ever put any more trust in what I call women that were beautiful. That outside beauty. I didn't want to have it. No. And the reason I say that because that was my only focus at the time. Looking at you, ooh, you look good. Now I wanted more than that. I went through a lot of changes after that, but when it came to not being alone again, I wanted something much more than that obvious beauty. I wanted some beauty that was so obvious, but it was a spiritual beauty. I wanted an obvious spiritual beauty. And since that was my focus, when I'm looking at a woman, I'm looking for her spirit. I'm not looking at that physical stuff. I already know what that's about. So I ran across this girl. She's a pretty little thing, kind of skinny, but she was pretty. But wait a minute. When I say pretty, I'm not talking about pretty like pretty. I'm talking about spiritually pretty. Why? Because now I know that I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission for the master. I'm on a mission for the most powerful one that there is. And I'm not probably going to be appreciated because my mission is about change. I don't know what change. I don't know what it's going to be at this time, but I know I got to do what I got to do. And I didn't know what that was, but I had to do it. And that meant doing something about people who hurt. So I made a decision when I accepted the call. I promised that out of all the things that I desire, that I want, and I need, they were going to be as important to me as ever. But I would deny myself these things while I make the struggle, while I take the message to a world that would require that they make the change, that the system, at least in America, make the change, so that now I can enjoy all of that wonderful heavenly stuff that God has prepared for every last one of us, but you can too. Now, I had to walk out of there, so money was not my goal. Changing hearts has been mine. But I was blessed because this little girl I told you that I ran across, I found out, after I found out her beauty spiritually, got a chance to know her, I found out now I can focus on the outside, and her beauty was just as beautiful as the first. So I'm thinking, no, I'm glad I didn't see it, because if I had seen it in the beginning, we wouldn't have been talking. Because I wasn't looking for nobody to be beautiful. I wanted somebody who was ready to serve God and was going to be right there and say, we're going to change this world, buddy. That's what I wanted. The first girl, we were going to make the world. We were going to be on top of the world. But the second one, I wanted to say, we're going to change this world. We are going to change this world. We're going to make this thing beautiful because I'm not alone now. I got a partner. I got a partner. Oh boy. But I didn't know it was going to be this complicated. I had no idea. I knew the program that humans had was solid, but I thought just a little hope, a little promise that you could wake up and change this thing. Well, I guess that's why it's taken forever. Forever, even to now, from beginning to now. And it still has not existed because it's complicated. Luckily, we are experiencing something that can make us focus on what I've been talking about for 36 years. This coronavirus is telling us that we not super. We can't necessarily believe that we are protected forever. Anything can happen to us at any time. But even in the midst of this, we're trying to do other little activities to help us make it through this. Help us go through the storm and come up out of it. Not bruised. Maybe weakened a little bit, but ready and strong enough to go on. And that's an education that we have been denied. I mean, these things have happened in other parts of the world, but we never had it like this. I never had to go down the street, nobody's out. Everybody at home. Man, I seen this in movies, but I never went. And people are serious. Get back. Don't even get close enough to elbow. No, stay back. Go to the stores and the lines wrapped around the block, and people are in line for toilet paper. Can you imagine? They don't want to be without the toilet paper. And so I'm thinking, as people are talking about what they're going to do to address this interim situation, they're talking about socialistic stuff. The people who are losing their jobs, you're going to still get your paychecks. Those of you who got other things that we can identify, get paycheck. If you can't get if you're off work because of something, you get unemployment compensation. Your food stamps won't be cut now. Your Social Security won't be cut right now. I mean, don't send out some checks to some people. I mean, this is the socialistic stuff that everybody puts down and say we don't want to have nothing to do with it. But it's coming in quite handy right now, wouldn't you say? I mean, well, nobody got checks yet. But the conversation is good, but you have to wait because Trump is talking. And you know you can't count on that. Anyway, these are the kind of things that are running through your mind right now. And I just thought I wanted to say those kinds of things. And sometimes even, ladies and gentlemen, when you think you got it right on the mark, sometimes it can still be not on the mark. And sometimes you can give it all you got, and all you got is all you got, but it's not enough. And so you do the best you can, and you leave the job for another, and another, and another, until it's gathered, and we all come together as one brother. So I want to leave it there with you, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to talk to you just a few minutes. I'm locked in most of the time, nothing to do. So if I put this on YouTube, maybe you might check it out, and it might do some good because it's doing me some to share with you. And until, if there is, Eddie Marcus, good night.